to the Delmarva Almanac. Each week we connect you to the best of Delmarva. I'm your host, Dana Kester-McCabe. Painter Paul Volker is opening a new gallery called the Green Pearl. It is so named because it sits on the corner of Pearl and Green Streets in Snow Hill. Once renovations now underway are complete, the combination gallery and studio space will give art lovers a window into the artist's creative process. This should prove to be a unique and enjoyable experience. Paul had an early interest in cartooning, which evolved into work as a painter with a sense of humor. He attended Ohio State University for 3 years before jumping into his career full-time.
I had become so busy at that time doing actual art jobs for people, I thought, well, this is why I'm in school, so I was spending so much time doing that, I really didn't have time to do more of the academic stuff. However, I continued to be involved at the university, and I used to sit in on classes and participate in my spare time, which the professors liked. Found myself doing graphics, primarily in cartooning, graphics, menu designs, and things like graphic arts, and a lot of cartooning and illustration work for people. And then I was working on a mural for somebody on the front of a building one time, and really started to become fond of paints at that time, especially house paint. And I had been using ordinary art supply paint, acrylics, but I had a lot of gallons of acrylic house paint left over. I started using those, and now that's my preferred medium. And a friend of mine who does paint restoration, she said, oh, 100 years from now they're going to love you. They'll just be able to go down to a hardware store and, match the color.
Paul has done thousands of paintings showing various animals doing very human things, like drinking espresso. When you look at them, you can't miss his sense of whimsy.
Animals are a very good way of conveying the human experience, and in a humorous way. And humor is actually the focus of my work. And humor is a highly regarded means of expression in theater, in television, in literature. I mean, the longest running TV shows are The Simpsons, things that are funny. But in the art world, humor is relegated to a very low status. It's like gags, or it's a joke, and once you get it, the painting's done. But I think it's possible to work on that more, and really explore humor as a valid theme in art.
Mark Twain once remarked that in terms of humor, the further the pendulum swings out over woe, the further it is bound to swing back over mirth. Paul's animal paintings give the viewer a good laugh while poking fun at what is sometimes the darker side of the human condition.
Animals are funny because there's a lot of cruelty in the animal world, in nature. You watch the old nature programs of big fish eating little fish, and tigers eating, or lions eating gazelles, or whatever. And that it's not really cruelty to animals, that's just survival. But in terms of humans, it's a good way to reflect on the way humans relate to each other. Some of my favorite animals to paint are crocodiles and bears. I sort of just make it up as I go along. I don't invest a whole lot of sentimentality to my work, and although I do want my work to bring a lot of joy to people when they see it, but I'm not too attached to it, and part of the reason is because I find that actually for me to be very inhibiting to do that. That's one of the reasons I use house paint on plywood, is because expensive art materials are intimidating to me. And one of my rules is frequently to paint, after I've finished a painting, is to just paint over it, even if it's good, and do another one, and just let it go. And that gives me a real sense of freedom, that it doesn't matter all that much if I destroy a painting or not. And because of that, I find I'm actually able to really let go and break a lot more rules and be a lot more freer with myself.
Paul's work is evolving from flat images into 3 dimensions and even working parts. He's using recycled materials like wood and paper pulp mixed with caulk and industrial glue.
It's kind of like paper mache, only it's rock hard. And yeah, I like the 3-dimensional quality. I like the idea that people could sort of touch it, and because you're not supposed to touch art. And most of my stuff breaks a lot of rules. I don't have frames, I don't use canvas, I don't use oil paints, and you can touch the work. The painting I'm working on right now, which is going to be a very large work, will have 12 interactive pieces that you can actually remove from the painting and play with. But it features 12 old-fashioned TV sets on a board that looks like a store window, like an old TV store.
Paul says that people now often treat artwork more like a souvenir of their experience. For example, they take selfies in galleries and museums rather than more directly enjoying the work they see. His goal is to invite the viewer to break through the barriers that technology has inadvertently placed between them and the artist's work.
The goal of technology these days, with iPhones and iPads and that sort of thing, is to make a 3D interactive experience. So what I'm trying to do is, using the most low-tech material possible, which is house paint on plywood, is to create a 3D interactive television experience. And so I decided to make a series of television sets with knobs on them and black and white images on them, which the user can actually go and turn the knobs and change the picture on the artwork. So it is in fact 3D interactive television, which is the goal of modern technology, but I'm trying to do it in, like I said, a completely rough. Even the wood is rough and uneven, and the paint is gloppy. There's nothing smooth about it. It's not like an iPhone, which is completely smooth. This is bumpy and coarse. In the world today, we're getting all of our information on these glass screens, and we're losing that kind of textural quality to our experience. And so I want to create artwork that has that you can feel the texture with your eyes. You could feel some depth. It's not just something behind glass.
Paul also invites everyone to come to the grand opening of his new gallery, The Green Pearl in Snow Hill, this spring. Well, that's all for this edition of the Delmarva Almanac. We'd like to thank our community partners, the Friends of Delmarva Public Radio, the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, and underwriters, eatdrinkbuyart.com, for their help in bringing this program to you, our audience. Our theme music was provided by Brightside Studio. This show has been a Moonshell production. Thanks for listening. Until we meet again, may the rhythms and tides of Delmarva bring you good fortune.